of the Stadium Journey podcast. Thanks for joining us tonight. Stadium Journey is the ultimate website for the traveling sports fan. Our website, stadiumjourney.com, contains over 2,500 stadium reviews, plus news items and more. In addition to the website, we are all over social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, follow, comment, share. Across the board, do it everywhere. The Stadium Journey podcast is now part of the new and improved HIAC Talk Radio Network. You can find all of HIAC's great content by just searching HIAC Talk Radio Network on your podcast search app or on Spotify. Just look for the shiny new red and black logo. And in addition, all of our old video podcasts are on the Stadium Journey YouTube channel. Perfect for a nice binge watch. And if you're looking for any of our audio-only episodes in our back catalog, they can still be found at vocnation.com. And if you're watching this podcast at a later date and you want to watch the show live, the Stadium Journey podcast streams live Tuesday nights at 8 at twitch.tv/danlaw83. Welcome to everyone who is there right now. And here is our starting lineup. We've got Dave Totney here. He can be followed online at ProFan9. Mark Viquez is on the social medias at Ballpark Hunter. Dan Calachico, the above average comedian, is here. You can follow him at DanLaw83. And I'm Paul Baker. You can follow me at PuckmanRI. And the RI stands for really interesting. The NBA playoffs are in full swing right now, so we thought, why not dedicate an episode to the NBA? We haven't talked about hoops in a long time. So here we are, NBA action. It's fantastic. You guys are all too young to remember this wonderful tagline, aren't you?
Nope, not too young. I remember that.
No, I remember that too.
What was
it?
it?
You
was on NBC
Diane
with
Cannon.
Ahmad Rashad.
Yeah, Diane Cannon would be on it. NBA action. It's fantastic.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's good. You're probably better off, man.
Diane Cannon. You know her?
No idea.
Bob, Ted, Carolyn Ellis. Go way back there.
I'm
So,
30. I'm 37.
Great movie. Look it up. Natalie Wood. Her last great role. Okay.
Now you're talking my language here.
All right. Natalie Wood. Rest in peace.
For those of you keeping track at home, it's number one.
Yes, I'm the only show where I'm the youngest.
Hi, how
This
about that? All right. So, on this podcast, we've talked quite a bit about college basketball arenas, college basketball venues, but not a whole lot about NBA places. So why is it, I'm going to put this question out to the panel, why is it that we love our college basketball venues, but not our NBA gyms?
There's more of them.
All right, show's over. See you later, guys.
There you go. Bye.
No, it's more than that. As I think as travelers, your number has something to do with it, but as travelers, one of the things I think we look for is variety, and we're looking for different experiences and different structures and what's different about this place versus that place. And, let's face it, the NBA arenas are becoming more and more homogeneous. They're looking more and more alike and sounding alike. And, they all have the same sort of amenities until you get something like a Little Caesars, and then it raises the bar, and then all of a sudden others follow suit. And, you don't have that longevity. You got MSG, and then you got a lot of like new stuff. I mean, I couldn't tell you what the second oldest NBA arena is.
Target Center, maybe?
Maybe.
That's a good question.
That is a really good question.
Does anybody know? Tell us.
It was Golden State.
Second oldest NBA.
They're the
arena.
newest now.
It was, right. Now they're the newest.
It's not the Bradley Center anymore. So
NBA's arenas, a lot of them seem to be carbon copies of each other. College basketballs are more unique and varied. Yeah, Mark just said that. I was just typing it away. That's Dave. Thank you, Greg.
So, all right. So,
yeah, it is Target Center. That's the second.
Target Center,
Really?
wow.
Yeah, but when? What year?
1990.
Oh,
Utah Jazz 91.
25 years gap.
Phoenix Suns 92, and then Cleveland Cavs, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse 94.
All four of those have had huge, massive
Yes.
renovations in the last
Many.
5 years.
Many, yeah. I mean, all of you have to. You have to have. If you build a gym in an arena in 1990. I have never seen a Wolves game there, but I have seen a Lynx game there. And I have been to a lot of NBA gyms in my arenas in my life. Most of them are gone. I can tell you why that I haven't gone to a lot. I'm just not a huge NBA fan. Basketball was never my favorite sport growing up.
That's with the Vancouver Grizzlies and Sonics
Yes.
jerseys behind
Well,
it.
and here's another thing. I've been to 2 Vancouver Grizzly games, a Sonics game back about 20 years ago now.
That's
They all moved.
awesome.
They all moved. I'm afraid to go to a game. Every place I go, the team
Having Mark
moves or
I just-
leaves. I
I'm
better go back to Minnesota. Maybe A-Rod will take me to Seattle.
I'm not a big fan of Alf. I just have all the seasons on DVD and the doll behind me.
You weren't here. I bought this for $5, the Sonics jersey at TJ Maxx in Vancouver. They were going $18 Canadian back in the day. I like it. I thought it was a cool looking jersey. So
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
now
So
kids
who's
are
going to
paying
be the
$100
one
for it.
who's going to be the one to tell Mark that he's pointing the wrong way?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's Sonics. Vancouver. I can tell you this: if it wasn't for Stadium Journey, I don't think I would go to a lot of college venues like I have. But being I'm in Indianapolis, in the center of some of the premier ones in the country, even in Ohio and Illinois and down in Kentucky, it's hard not to be curious and go to these places. It's a much different atmosphere at a college basketball game than at an NBA one. I would love to go to more NBA venues. I mean, especially a lot of them have been renovated. I'm sure they have a lot more to offer than I could ever imagine, but it's just not my wheelhouse. But yeah, maybe I'll make an effort. Who knows?
I have a question. How much more would a basketball game change a venue's perception to you versus an NHL game? Because a lot of these,
The crowd.
most of the, okay, I was going to say it's got to be atmospheric, right? How the crowd reacts to the game, not just the game itself. Because you can have more people at an NBA game because the playing field's obviously smaller.
Yes.
But what's the percentage? Is it like almost 100% arenas are used for both basketball and hockey? Not 100%, but like 90.
I mean, a majority of them. I'm trying to think. Brooklyn is just basketball now, but the Knicks,
Now.
Philly, Boston.
Yeah, well,
they all
Yeah.
we
So-
know what it's like to see a hockey game in Brooklyn. It wasn't good. That's why they had to
Yeah.
build a new one. Indianapolis, that's made especially for for basketball. When they have the minor league hockey team played there in the past, it was nice to go for one game because they would pack it, but it was a terrible place to watch a game. Very similar to what Brooklyn had. So,
Paul, real quick, I bet you I would love the Barclays Center if I wasn't going there to watch hockey games.
Yeah, for a basketball game, I've heard fantastic things about it.
Ugh.
But yeah, hockey, not so much. But anyway, having gone to a bunch of places for both hockey and basketball, I can tell you the difference. And this was going to be my next question to the group, but damn it, I'm going to answer it. What's different about an NBA game? It is sensory overload. The game down on the court is almost an afterthought. At least, I can talk from experience from going to in Boston and Washington and Philly.
Well, that's because Celtics
and,
games are
and
boring.
LA too. No, they're not.
I'm kidding.
They're actually not. Maybe the product on the court this year, but anyway, there is just so much coming at you. And I actually went to one of my games recently with someone who's not a basketball fan at all. Brought, Pam and I brought a friend and his wife, and she doesn't know step one about sports. And she just said, man, I have ADHD after being at this game because there's so much, there's noise and there's the scoreboard and there's sound effects, there's cheerleaders and there's mascots throwing stuff at you. And it's
You all become me when you go to a basketball game.
there is just, you can spend your whole day, if the court is here, you can spend your whole day doing this and entertain for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it is a totally different experience. I guess I'm kind of like Mark. I'm not a huge NBA fan. It's probably my last choice to watch on television. But I would say that when I go, in that small sort of microcosm, that 3-hour window. Actually, if you're at a basketball game for 3 hours, you're in double overtime or whatever. So that 2.5 hours, it's I have a great time in that 2.5 hours. One of the things I would say though, like different wise, and Dan, you were talking about hockey versus basketball. To me, some of the most interesting hockey places do not share a basketball team. So Vegas, no basketball team there. Very, very unique situation there, unique game day experience. Tampa, well, I guess there was a basketball team there this year, but under normal circumstances, no basketball team. So, my experience in hockey is those places that have like original kind of things that make it stand out. Nashville, they don't have basketball teams there. The one, and funny enough, my favorite hockey place of all time also has a basketball team, and I loved the hockey experience, and I really didn't care for the basketball team, and that was Chicago. The hockey experience was amazing. The crowd was crazy, and Chicago, and for the Bulls, it was flat. It was just kind of blah. It was actually one of my least favorite NBA experiences.
Yeah, I concur with that. And even the ushers will tell you that the Blackhawks draw them in. Now, if we went back 25 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, that might be a little bit different. But yeah, definitely the Blackhawks really are the model franchise, maybe, of that city in some regards, especially when they were winning Stanley Cups back and left and right. Really brought a lot of excitement back there. But I remember growing up as a kid, we had the New Jersey Nets. Now they're the Brooklyn Nets, and they're going to probably be playing for the Eastern Conference Championship in a few days. And they used to give those tickets away for free. You'd go to Herman's Sporting Goods, and there'd be a guy with a block of tickets, giving them away. And they only sold out if the Lakers were in town, Detroit, maybe Philly with Iverson or the Knicks. So to me, going to a doubles game at the Meadowlands was a little more of excitement, but the arena itself wasn't anything spectacular because it was just so massive. It sat about 20,000 for basketball, which is insane to think. It could work in some cities, but
Question from the floor that I can actually answer. Greg asked, do the Aces play in the NHL Vegas Arena? They don't. They play whatever the arena is called that's attached to the Mandalay Bay.
Is it the Orleans? They play at the Orleans Arena?
I thought they played in the Orleans Arena.
Mandalay Bay Event Center.
That's where the Wranglers used to play from the East.
Yeah, I think Orleans.
Mandalay Bay Event Center, which is in Paradise.
Yeah, I think that's different because I think the Orleans is a bit smaller.
Well, now
I think even smaller now.
Now it's called the Michelob Ultra Arena. So
yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of arenas out there. I don't know if they just changed their names, but there's a ton of them, and they're building a new one right now, I believe, for the hockey team. Correct, the AHL team.
No, they already played.
That's in Henderson.
No, they play. They already played in the arena's open. Henderson already played.
Okay. Much I know. Okay.
Palm Springs is building. Yes, building. Palm Springs is building a new one.
Building.
Okay, so let's talk about the arenas a little bit. So between the panel, I think we have been to 16 out of the 30 arenas. So a little over half. Not enough to really do a comprehensive item by item rankings like we have in the past. But I can go over what Stadium Journey thought of the arenas in our most recent rankings, which was done in 2019, by the way. Okay. So I don't think any of you would guess who came out on top of our 2019 Stadium Journey rankings for NBA.
Of all the NBA arenas. It's not Barclays?
No.
I could guess, but
you cheated. We were talking about it before.
Huh.
Anybody, Greg? Anyone listening? Anybody got a guess? What would be our top rated? You're all gonna laugh when I tell you. So I'm just gonna tell you because I don't want to have any silence here.
I know.
Cleveland.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cleveland came on top. So we have rightfully referred to reviews like that in the past as Homer reviews.
I think that one was done in the playoffs when LeBron was still there.
Okay, well, you know what? That would absolutely boost your score a notch or two in many different categories. Yeah.
Whatever do you mean?
Full House.
I thought he was a bum.
No, they still pack him in, right? They still sell it every game.
I don't know. I've only been there for an AHL hockey game, and it definitely was not packed. It is a really nice place.
I was there during the first LeBron era, And I distinctly remember they were playing the Raptors, and it was one of those buzzer-beating moments. And the play that they drew up was basically give the ball to LeBron and 4 guys stand around and watch and see what he does. So, needless to say, the Raptors won.
So yeah, I can't imagine that Cleveland, as nice of an arena as it is, would rank up near the top otherwise. But there we goes.
They did renovate.
Also, the top of New York at number 2.
Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense. Especially when the team is winning.
You could probably say half of these have been renovated within the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
We got Madison Square Garden at number 2. Solid pick.
I've seen the Globetrotters there. I've never seen the Knicks play there.
I've seen the Rangers play there.
Yeah, I've seen the Rangers play there.
And the Liberty, and I think I saw Arena Football. I saw the Circus a couple times.
Now,
Just never
funny
saw
enough,
the Knicks.
you mentioned that the Liberty used to play there. Do you know where the Liberty play now?
Brooklyn.
Yes,
Yeah, they're back. Back in the city.
back in the New York groove.
Yeah. good for them.
Number 3 was Toronto.
That's a great review. Everybody should go out and read that one.
Nah, delete it. Delete it from the site.
4 is Utah.
Wow.
5 was Miami.
LeBron error.
Maybe.
I don't know
Maybe.
how long has it been.
I was
I don't
there
know.
during the LeBron era too. I saw the Heat
I
play.
get
And it
mixed
was,
up.
everybody was giddy in my row because Lil Wayne was in the front row, and I was like, "Who the hell's Lil Wayne? Why do I care?" But no, that was a good place. Right on Bikane Bay too. Like out of, in Miami they have most of their venues are really poorly located, except for that one. That's really the spot, and I think the other teams wish they were closer to that area.
Yeah, the Panthers are out in the suburbs somewhere, and
Yeah, way out. And Miami's a funny city, right? Like it's Miami, and then all of these other little cities around it that we as outsiders think of as Miami, but they're not all Miami, right? Like Sunrise isn't Miami, Fort Lauderdale's not Miami.
LA, Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
okay, so let's go quickly through the list. We got Portland at number 6. Atlanta at number 7.
I really enjoyed Atlanta. If they could get a crowd, a regular crowd, it would
could be the start.
Amazing. And how many places can you see what city you're in right out front in the pillars?
That's right. If they just dropped you off in front of an arena, you looked up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah. The pillars in the front spell out Atlanta. Right behind the Dominique Wilkins statue.
Now that's the side of the thing with the loading dock, though, because I remember when I was in Atlanta, I looked for that sign and couldn't find it, but I think I walked around 3/4 of the arena and didn't.
Well, because it was close. It was really close to the Georgia Dome, and the Georgia Dome was a funny place because it was like there was this almost like a underground infrastructure. Like the Georgia Dome was on this platform, and then there was all of this stuff going on underneath.
And the convention center was right there too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 8 was Orlando.
Long lines. When we went to Orlando, I just remember long lines. But that's another one like like Brooklyn and Indiana. It's a basketball first design, and they do throw some hockey in, but it's ECHL, and it's not really like the arena was not really designed for that.
9, we have Indiana. 10.
Indiana's really the first one that I think of when it's like the basketball arena, and it's this kind of it's a field house, right? It's not. It's probably the most unique of the ones that I've been to, outside of Detroit, which is unique only in and of it being so new.
Yeah, and that's going through renovations as we speak right now. So, definitely when you walk in there, it's basketball, not just the Pacers, but the history of high school, professional, and collegiate basketball in there as well. Marvelous place to walk around just to get a little history vibe.
Then we got rounding out the top 10. We have Sacramento.
That's surprising. New arena too, newish.
Yeah. Let's see. At number 11, San Antonio. Are they still playing in the dome?
No,
No, they're
no,
in the.
they have their
Yes.
own spot.
Well, it shows how current I am on this stuff.
Yeah, yeesh, we're terrible. Send us the hate mail.
Hey, at number 12 is the first one that I've actually been to, Philadelphia.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's all right. It's
That's okay.
I like
No, it's
you know
meh.
this.
Hmm?
This is
Yeah.
one again. We come back to this. You know, Paul, you and I will disagree. I kind of like that they're all there and easy to get to and easy to get out of, and
They are
you know,
not easy to get out of, man. You sit in that parking lot for hours. trying to get out
Easy
of
to get out of.
I haven't had a problem getting out of there.
He
Maybe
left
I'm just
early.
lucky.
there. Murray Goldberg.
I
Number
think
30.
my brain was broken
Yeah, I have never
Again?
been able to get out of that place early,
constantly.
At number 13, we got Dallas.
Been there for arena football, but
Looks nice on the outside, I can say that.
But let me just add to Philly being the Philly guy here. We could complain about the Spectrum till all day, but like there's no real the old tire cliche that we talk about almost every week, how it's just cookie cutter and bland. And Wells Fargo Center's fine.
yeah, I mean they all came out around like 94 to 96.
Right,
A lot of those
right.
arenas look alike.
When
Feel
you
alike.
have like it's at Madison Square Garden, I've gone on record and saying that it's impressive, and then you get inside, you're like, it's an arena, but it looks different, right? Spectrum looked different. Cap Center looked different.
Sure
All
did.
these buildings looked different. Maple Leaf Gardens looked different, and it just looks like an office building with a dome in the center. And it's just you go inside, and I like the building. Don't get me wrong. The facilities compared to what we had 30 years ago, 10 years ago, are mind-numbingly insane. But still, it's like it's fine. It belongs where it is on the list.
Well, 12, it's in the upper, well, not third, but it's the middle third.
Yeah.
All right, so coming up, we did Dallas at 13, 14. Oh, you know what's funny? We're talking about all these kind of looking the same, but the arenas that have come out more recently,
Don't.
they kind of suffer on our list here.
Well,
That may be because of price.
I was
Could
going to
be.
say the first one that comes to mind is Little Caesars Arena.
Yeah, so
And
let's see.
it looks different. They've gone back to building the outside differently, but inside, you have a city that just came off of tremendously troubling times, and nobody can afford to go there. And that fairly brings the rating downs on any review you write, because nobody's going to Detroit Red Wings games, nobody's going to Pistons games.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
fans-
Pistons out of the dollars, sports dollars, I think the Pistons have probably suffered the most and fallen off the most. And you could ask the question, how much of the Piston fan base was out in the suburbs? Because they probably made the biggest move out of anybody moving from Auburn Hills
Yeah.
downtown. So did that ostracize people who lived out in the
Yeah.
suburbs who were used to there? And actually, my favorite NBA place was the Palace at Auburn Hills. I love that place.
The Malice
It
at the
was-
Palace, baby.
Oh my gosh.
No, you're absolutely
It-
right.
The fan support there was unreal.
It's called the Palace,
it was-
man. How awesome is
Yeah,
that?
it was great. It was
Yeah.
great. And I
We'll
was
get into some old-
kind of sad when they
Yeah.
We'll get into
when
some
they
old places
moved.
too.
Oh, we'll talk
Yeah.
about. Okay, good. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the Palace, but we'll say that.
All right, yeah, we'll go real quick through this, as quick as we can. Oklahoma City at 14, and all right, here we go. Brand new arena, 15, Milwaukee.
That's surprising because
That's nice.
as I was talking
didn't
about
see
it, I was like, that one really looks unique from the outside.
Yeah.
It's
The wood.
it's totally different. And I went to 2 games in one day there. I went to Marquette and then I went to a Bucks game, and we had a great time. I really enjoyed that place a lot.
I love Milwaukee, very underrated city,
Definitely.
and and the arena is not far from the Bronze Fonz, so it's got that going
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, it's good location.
Number 16, Boston. Homer review, right?
Yeah.
17, Chicago. 18, Denver. 19, another new one, Golden State.
That's got to be price and getting there.
19, yeah. Well, yeah, like they're saying, it's a perfect point. if it's too expensive, as far as our rating system goes, that deflates return on investment. If people can't afford it and can't go, that affects fans, that affects atmosphere. So overpricing your tickets and your parking and your concessions can deflate a score in many different ways. So
If only the upper class are going to your games who don't give a damn about the actual event to begin with. There's no atmosphere, there's no personality.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they scored, yes.
hip hip.
Hip, 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 cheerio, yes.
Hey, here's a surprising one at number 20, the Lakers.
Really? Staples Center?
Maybe. I did not. I mean, I often see the media guys talk about how special a Lakers game is, and this, I didn't feel it.
Yeah. I don't know. My Lakers game got canceled, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Gee.
Well, yeah.
Wonder why.
I was thankful, like, when we went to the Lakers, it was the year before Lonzo Ball was there, so they were terrible. So therefore, it was easy to get tickets. and they didn't cost, they might have cost one mortgage payment, but not two.
Yeah. Let's see. Rounding out the bottom 10 here. 21 is Houston. 22, Detroit.
Yeah, the fan score has probably fallen way off on that one because the crowds have been pretty sparse.
23, Brooklyn.
Wow.
I think somebody went to a hockey game and thought it was basketball. I don't know. Because I've heard all good things about Barclays Center. It was built specifically for basketball.
I think you should erase the hockey review for that arena since it's null and void at this point. Take that out of there.
Well, you can find the old ones on the defunct page at stadiumjourney.com.
Hey.
24, I think this one is my review, New Orleans. Yeah, nothing special about that one, but hey, great location. 25, the Clippers. That one is my review. Maybe it's just me.
So wait, it got 2 reviews and one was lower than the.
Oh, the Staples Center? Yeah.
Yeah,
those are different experiences.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
look at
big
Jets.
difference.
Look at the Jets and Giants games. That's the same thing on our football one.
Yeah.
Much different reviews.
All right. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in LA for football this year with 2 teams sharing one facility. All right. Let's see. Out of 5, 26, Phoenix. 27, Minnesota. 28, Washington. Can confirm, yes. 29, Memphis. And bring up the rear, Dave. You'd be surprised by this one, is Charlotte.
Yeah, I am surprised by that, but I think it's probably has to do with, the just lack of success, and you're in college basketball area, right? Like, are you gonna spend your money on the Charlotte Hornets, or are you gonna spend your money on going to see Duke or NC State or whatever? But I probably the nicest people I've ever experienced that are working in Charlotte at the Spectrum Center. And Spectrum Center is beautiful. They do what they can to show off their history, but there's not a ton of it. And I would say that I am extremely surprised that Michael Jordan has not had the cachet to just have the free agents flock towards him. That's probably been a big surprise. In fact, I was shocked to hear that Gordon Hayward was going to the Hornets when he left Boston and not re-signing or going to Indiana.
Yeah. Okay, so that was our most recent rankings 2 years ago. Things could change. Stay tuned. Next year we'll redo the list and we'll see what happens. So let's talk about some of our favorite NBA arenas that are no longer with us. And I'm sure, like Dan, I think you're the one who said those old ones seem to have more personality. They were less cookie cutter.
It's just the same rule that I applied to on an aesthetically, I mean, because we talk about MSG and Baltimore Arena, and being in the arena was just, well, that's unfair to MSG. There's nothing wrong with MSG. I was just underwhelmed by it. Baltimore Arena is a hellscape. of an arena. This is terrible, but looking different. You start from the ground up. Again, go back to the Spectrum. It might not have been the prettiest girl on the dance floor, but she looked different, and and then as you look at, I still have pictures of driving by the complex when they were building what was it at the time, Core State Center, and it just looks like an office building going up. And it's just, every time I go there, I'm like, I don't have the same excitement as I did when I went in to see a Phantoms or Flyers game at the Spectrum, or a Sixers game at the Spectrum versus a Sixers game at the Wells Fargo Center. It's just not the same. And it starts with walking into the Shrine. You're going to church, and the church is just an office building. The only exception to the rule is the Arco Arena. And I've explained to that before, like, that's awesome. An amazing piece of engineering where they took an industrial office building, blew the hell out of the inside of it, built an arena inside of it, and then when the actual Arco Arena was done, they tore it all apart and put another office building inside of it and moved them. That is the exception to the rule. But yeah, just aesthetically, start there. The old kind of scoreboards. At first, I was impressed with the Wells Fargo Center, that new huge movable big giant LCD HD, but then it becomes overwhelming when you're looking at the game. You're just like, no, please stop. I want to watch what's going on between the commercial breaks. I don't want to see people in the stands and what they're doing. I don't care about you. I want to watch what's going on there. Now, with basketball games, it's different because basketball games kind of like lacrosse, where it's a bombardment of your senses for about 2 hours. Totally understand. Back that up. Can we shrink the screens?
We've talked about that on this show. Yes,
the
screens are crazy big. They're, in some cases, they seem to be as big as the court itself.
It's just different. Like my friend went to, I think it was a Real Madrid game at. This is not basketball, but just talk about screen size. At Texas State, whatever the hell they call Texas Stadium, the big one, the new one, Cowboy Stadium,
AT&T.
AT&T Stadium. Thank you. And actually taking a picture of her being there compared with the screen, I first noticed it when WrestleMania was there. Jesus Christ! There's stuff going on the field, please. It just doesn't feel the same anymore. And maybe it's because I'm older. But you guys travel all the time.
You're the youngest one here.
But what I'm saying, well, yeah, I am. But it's just, I don't know. I don't want to sound like old man yelling at cloud like you three, but I just threw it back at you. I'm kidding. It's just, it starts with going outside, and it's just, the Capital One Arena again is another. It just looks like a city block. It doesn't look special. Yeah. It's boring to me. It starts there. Then you work your way forward.
Yeah.
The food's overpriced 90% of the time. The seats suck, whether I'm 30 pounds lighter or not. Now, to be fair to the Wells Fargo Center, I have not been there since a bunch of the renovations because stuff happened and COVID. So I'm really looking forward to, I got Genesis concert tickets sitting at the lower bowl, and that'll be my first time sitting in the new seats. So I don't know.
Or will you just be standing?
No, we don't stand for Genesis anymore. Phil doesn't stand. I'm not standing.
So Mark, you've talked about closing down your share of NBA arenas. Any of them stand out or are particularly memorable?
I would definitely say the Palace in Auburn Hills was definitely memorable. I was there in 2001, and I was like, wow, this place is wonderful. I love the sight lines. I love the look. It was in the middle of a parking lot in the suburbs of Detroit, about 45 minutes, I think, outside of downtown Detroit. But back then, nobody went to downtown Detroit. It's just so odd that 20 years later, people are going to downtown Detroit. It's become a cool little spot now, which is great. I'm happy. I'm not saying any ill will towards the city. But I mean, the Palace, you look at it, it was built in 1988, and it's no longer around. I think it's imploded.
Detroit Town?
I think it's torn down, even though it's permanently closed. It's not going to be used again for any kind of sporting event. But I guess back in the 1960s, they did a survey, and somebody predicted that the population of Detroit was going to just balloon to gigantic sizes up there. So that's why
Oops.
they built the Silver Dome, and they wound up building the Palace up there. But you also have to think about the Palace of Auburn Hills. That was built privately for $90 million. It had 180 luxury suites, which was considered insane amount back in the day, but it was done at the time when the Pistons were one of the best teams in the NBA, back-to-back championship for the Bad Boys, so they sold them out. And they also had them tiered. It wasn't as if you had the luxury suites all the way at the roof with a bird's eye view. You had them a little bit mid-court, and that sort of changed the way people built arenas. So, when we talk about revolutionary designs for stadiums, the Palace is definitely one of them, but it's gone now because of a movement to ship back to Detroit, which, I understand that was a good cost to bring the Pistons back. But, if I was living 20 minutes outside of that area, I don't know if I want to travel downtown Detroit to see the Pistons now all of a sudden. You do have to look at your fan bases when it comes to things like that. I think they could have succeeded still playing up there, maybe renovate the arena. It's just too bad that one of my favorite spots for a game is no longer around.
Tim Capper is watching us on YouTube.
Awesome.
And Tim Capper, the great Tim Capper, is weighed in. And what he just said kind of surprised me. I did not expect this from Tim. Although, wait. Yes, I would expect this from Tim. I take that back. I completely expect this. You'll understand. One of my favorite arenas, this is Tim Capper, is Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Has charm on Oregon. You can access the arena from the actual boardwalk. That again, and being that I was talking about Philly, South Jersey arenas, that's another one where I have seen I've seen a lot of stuff at that arena. And it doesn't matter what's happening. You just look around and you're like, my God, this place is amazing. It's different. It looks, you could access it you don't even have to go outside. You can access it from the casino nearby. Yeah, newsflash to those who ever watch WrestleMania 4 and 5, where they call it, 4 and 5, they call it the Trump Taj Mahal. It's not. It's Boardwalk Hall. Trump had nothing to do with that arena at all whatsoever. But it's gorgeous. It looks different than anything else. I always liked it personally. I always enjoyed for like a string of about 12 years, the WWE 2K video games was basically the arena they used for the wrestling matches where you would play the game was Boardwalk Hall, because you had those 3 looped the arches and all the sections at the top of all the sections going around the sides. I was like, hey, that's Boardwalk Hall. You can't fool me. Nothing looks like that. That's a gorgeous arena. And I've seen sporting events there with like 3 people. I've seen it with a full house when right before the Boardwalk Police won the thing, after the Boardwalk Police won, where there was nobody, and then a couple of Bears Titans game, Bears Devils games. There's nobody there, but it doesn't matter because you walk around that place. That is an experience when you first go there.
Nice choice, Tim. Dave, what were you gonna jump in with?
I was just going to go back to Auburn Hills for a minute, and with the Pistons moving out to the suburbs. First they played at Silverdome, then they built their own place, Auburn Hills. Never underestimate the pissing contest between millionaires and billionaires, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Why did the Pistons end up in the suburbs? Because Bill Davidson and Mike Ilitch couldn't get along. Really, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
Yeah, Davidson said, "Hell with it, I'm out of here." Went and played at the Silverdome. One place I actually would have loved to see the Pistons play at the Silverdome. One of the I can't believe I didn't do this. I never saw the Raptors play at the Rogers Center or at Skydome.
I did.
I was too snobby for that. My first Raptors game was actually at Maple Leaf Gardens. And I looked for that specifically because I didn't want to. Well, I don't want to go and see it in a dome.
I don't blame you.
Way later, though, one of my favorite college basketball experiences is at Syracuse.
Yeah, I was going to ask everybody what if the trend back away from playing in these giant football stadiums, if that's a good thing, because we used to have a few teams that played
Seattle
in
was
football
another
stadiums.
one.
Seattle, San Antonio, Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. Now, Detroit, the problem with them is that they never
I
could
think
find.
those are on the wayside now.
Yeah, they never could find their homes. You know, they were in the Cobo Arena, then the Silver Dome, then they had to go to Joe Louis Arena because of a storm or something like that. I think they're in the Olympia Arena prior to when they first moved from Fort Wayne.
Now, the Seattle thing was because of availability, was it not? Or were they doing that as a gimmick?
I think
I don't know. I'm asking.
I think that was sort of like it's just. I remember with San Antonio when they opened up the Alamo Dome, they said, "Hey, we got this new building. It's a dome. Let's have the Spurs play in it. Why not? It makes sense." I just think that was the thinking back then. Just like with Seattle, that was just the thinking that you had. Let's just play in this arena, that this dome stadium will convert it into an NBA arena. And then I think just the way we think now, like, why would you want to play there unless it's by emergency or you're expecting 70,000 at the game?
This is bothering me now that we're talking about it. Why aren't these arenas being built with an outside facade that looks better? Why is it the general whitewashed, and I don't mean that as a race thing, the whitewashed, very clean industrial look, and who the frig decided, like how I edited that? Who decided that was, we should go this way? This looks good. It's never appealed to. Just Tim Capper bringing up Boardwalk Hall made me angry about this. I'm like, you could just build look at Key Arena. Look what they're doing with that with the oh my god, the Kraken, and I assume the NBA is going to look to go there,
Monday.
or somebody is going to look to go there. I
Look at
know
Little Caesar, same thing. Built it differently.
Yeah,
That
it looks amazing. It just looks different, just a little different.
those were the minds of the architects. At
No,
the time.
I'm asking you guys, does that not change? You guys are more traveled than me. Does that not change your perception of a building walking in from the parking lot?
Sure.
How it looks?
Of course it does.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, listen to what Mark said earlier. Most of these arenas we're talking about were built around the same time in the 90s.
Oh God
So
damn it! I love Ed Snyder, but God damn it
they
that he
copycat
allowed
each other.
that.
Well, and how many are built by the same, HOK or whatever?
Right.
You're
Yeah,
talking about
that's
basically
true.
the same two or three companies. I never got to see a Sonics game like you did, Mark, but I did see a Seattle Storm game at the Key Arena and had a blast. That would have been a great spot for NBA basketball, and they killed it in the WNBA venue there. It would have been nice and small and loud, and it would have been a ton of fun.
And it felt like you're underneath a tent.
Yep.
Which that was renovated as well. The team had to play in the Tacoma Dome for a year, and they renovated the arena. And then not even a little over 10 years later, we need a new arena or major renovations. We're out of here. But it's funny to look at some of these. It's funny to think that at a time, teams were playing in these sort of arenas. Even the Milwaukee Bucks up until 1988 were playing at what is now, it was called the Mecca back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now the University of Wisconsin Panthers Milwaukee Arena has its long name. Built in 1950. I could not imagine what that would have been like in the mid 80s when they had some pretty solid teams. Not good enough to beat the Celtics. What that would have been like.
Or when they
10,000
had
seats.
Or when they were winning championships with Lou Alcindor, right? Like, wow, that was fun. I've been there. I've been there for Milwaukee Panthers basketball actually, and it's really tight. It's really small.
Yeah.
It's a very small building, but I mean
that place full would be amazing.
And I love they brought back the old floor.
Yes, they have. I don't think is that brought back full time or is that just brought back?
I don't think so. Dan,
I
what's
think
up?
they brought it back for show and tell, which is
Two
awesome.
things. One thing I think we can wait to the end for, but I want to put it in your head since you're their showrunner. EP says the Alamo Dome was built to lure the NFL. The NBA was an afterthought.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Tim Capper, and I'm not going to ever ignore Tim Capper, gentlemen. Which arena that doesn't exist anymore do you wish you'd seen an event at? Then he added, mine is Veterans Memorial Veterans Memorial Auditorium, the barn in Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh wow! So this had a hosted NBA. I probably would say Maple Leaf Gardens, even though it wasn't a historic home for NBA, but it
Yeah,
was.
but
home-
hell.
It was
Are
home
you
for
kidding?
first.
It wasn't a historic spot for NBA. The first game was played
Yes,
there.
I was going to say it was known for the first game. I would love to see a game there, even though I've been inside the building to see some adult league hockey.
Was it? Really?
Yeah, it was 1946. The Huskies versus the Knicks.
Well,
The
my
one
mind
year-
is officially blown.
The 1 year the Huskies existed, and basically the Maple Leafs ran them out of town.
Of course.
They just like, yes, you can have Tuesdays at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, Kelly and I were talking about this recently. I think, and hard pressed to debate this. I'm sure there is a debate or an argument about this, but I think the NBA might be the worst of the four major sports about keeping their teams and moving teams in the early days. Holy basketball, and I mean professional
Well,
ABA
football, too.
and NBA.
Yeah.
I think it's worse than the NFL by. I think it's a small
well,
margin, but I think
football-
there's a
yeah.
margin, man. Oh my god!
Well, yeah, a lot of teams coming and going.
Wow.
But you had a lot of Midwest regional leagues.
Yeah, back in the
that-
barnstorming days. Yeah, teams were
Yeah,
like-
yeah. There's a
Yeah,
lot
but-
of teams that will hop. Like it's not like some teams will move from one city to the other, but in the NBA you get the hop, and then the hop,
like
and then the hop,
Sacramento, Atlanta. Yeah, those are
LA, the Lakers.
Yeah, but you're looking at way back in
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I
plenty of
know. I'm
stuff
saying,
moved.
but that's what I meant in the history. I was like, God damn, this might be a little more than baseball. Baseball's been around hundreds of years at this
Well, I
point.
mean, the Pistons were founded way before the creation of the National Basketball League, which merged with the
Yeah.
from the NBA.
Yeah,
They were founded They were founded as, I guess, like a work team. I guess the Zollner Pistons were Fred Zollner's way of recruiting men to work and play for his basketball team and factory.
And don't forget the NBA, like as recently as the 80s, was not showing the finals live, right?
82,
Like they were
1982, yeah.
shown on
Tape delay.
CBS on tape delay outside
delay.
of prime time, right? So
Yep.
you know,
Well, would
yeah,
you
there's
ever-
some funny ones. Of course,
Yeah.
I think the best moving story ever is the Clippers one where the dude who owned the Buffalo Braves traded his entire franchise to the dude who owned the Celtics, and then the new owner of the Buffalo Braves hightailed it to San Diego, lasted a couple years, sold off to that Donald Sterling person, and the rest is unfortunate history, I guess.
No comment.
All right. So, in the interest of not going for a topic that we thought we wouldn't get a full hour of, we're in danger of going really long here. So,
I helped.
One final question: does anybody have an NBA bucket list that they would like to fulfill, even if it's even one item? I don't have one.
I like to get to Cleveland and actually review it. So I'm about 4.5 hours away. Maybe I'll do that next season.
Yeah, I want to see a Sixers Knicks game at MSG and try to revitalize my care for that building. I mean that
Yeah.
legitimately.
My number one would probably be to see the Knicks. But then I think some of these ones where it's basketball only kind of thing, like high on the list for me would be Portland,
That'd be fun.
and maybe
Portland, Salt Lake City.
yeah, and Utah was the other one that I was thinking of. So those are that's kind of my bucket list. But Portland, Salt Lake City are not easy for me to get to. Well, nowhere's easy for me to get to at the moment.
I actually do have a bucket list item, and this is actually one that our buddy Dre Ojeda also said. He messaged me earlier, and he said, and I've got to agree with him. I wish I had a time machine so I could go back to the '80s and see the Birds, Celtics, and Magic's Lakers play each other again.
That would have been your wheelhouse back then. Why didn't you go?
I did.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay. Nice.
I
Well,
did.
la di da.
That's when I used to go to NBA games, and I saw the Celtics and Lakers. I used
Right.
to see the Celtics and Sixers play. When I went to college in Baltimore, we'd go down to DC and we'd see Moses Malone play Larry Bird. So yeah,
Moses.
all that. And we saw Jordan. Whenever Jordan would come to town, we'd go see him. So that's when I used to go to basketball games pretty regularly.
My last comment
you
on
can
the
afford
NBA though, and this kind of boggles my mind. NBA tickets for the areas that I would sit in, generally speaking, I find are cheaper than hockey tickets.
They are.
Oh yeah, yeah. NHL's always been more.
It's a little surprising,
Less players to pay, I guess.
probably.
You know, and if you ask anybody who works in a bar around an arena, they will all say hockey fans spend more and tip better than their basketball counterparts. Just a thought. So we'll wrap it up right there. NBA fans are cheap. Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying. So this is the part of the show where we will recap our visits over the last couple of weeks. Dave, I know you've been all over the place.
Yeah, Wasaga Beach and home. And hey, they're hoping that the CFL is going to start in early August, and they're hoping in Ontario anyway for 100%. They're just going to negotiate that now. So I might get a game in 2021.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Awesome. Mark, how about you? I know you did a little bit of traveling.
Yeah, I've been to went to about 5 different ballparks this past 2 weeks. We'll do the abbreviated version. Capco Park, which is in Mason, Ohio, right outside of Cincinnati. Went to the Big East baseball tournament. What is special about this place is that everything is free: admission, tickets, and the food. Burgers, hot dogs, ice cream, pretzel bites, Walmart brand soda. It's all free. And
Wow.
There was about 3,000 people there. They had inflatable rides for the kids. Perfect night for baseball. Place was packed, but it's run by a Christian organization that is there to spread their message and at the same time bring the community in. So you may see collegiate baseball. You may see Xavier baseball. You may see 16 under, 12 under baseball. You may see a variety of events there. But it was definitely a very unique experience. I have to say, if I could have given that higher than a 5 for return of investment, I would have given it, because everything was free.
That's a lot of free hot dogs.
And you can keep going back and forth. It's not as if they said, hey, don't come back. So if you want to eat 8 hot dogs and drink 5 sodas, God bless you.
Literally.
You could have done that. So pretty cool spot, and it's under my radar. It's been around since 2008. I didn't know about it until a couple years ago, right at the end of the 2019 season. And of course, the pandemic came. The Reds actually used it as a second alternative spot for spring training this past year, last year. So yeah, cool little spot. The review, I think, is coming up in a few days. So check that out on Stadium Journey. Second stadium was the Loeb Stadium in Lafayette, Indiana. That is the new venue for the Lafayette Aviators of the Prospect League. 2,500 seat venue. Very cool, very sleek, modern, comfortable. They did a great job with the design there. Grass seating. You were about a foul, not even like a short run from second to first, to a custard stand across the street. So it has some cool anomalies to it. So should be some good times in the future in Lafayette. Nice size building for the league. Then I did a road trip. I went to Springfield, Illinois. Went to do a couple venues we don't even have up yet. One of them is Robin Roberts Stadium in Springfield, Illinois. That field traces its roots back to the 1920s and named after the Hall of Famer Robin Roberts, who went to high school there. I thought he played minor league baseball there, but he's a hometown hero. Nice venue. It's okay. It's nothing exciting. One cool aspect is that before the first pitch, all the draft beers are $1. So get there before the first pitch to have dollar beers. And there's 6 varieties. They have a ribeye sandwich, which is amazing. And if you are lucky enough, some nights they discount it to $2 towards the end of the night. So, I thought that was kind of neat. A little bit of a slow day that day. The owner actually came up and talked to me for about a half hour. Very rarely do I get to speak to the owner of a baseball club. So I appreciate that conversation on Friday night. That really kind of got my mind a little more interested in the ballpark that night. Next day, I went to Lloyd Hopkins Field, which is in Alton, Illinois, right outside of St. Louis. And this is a brand new ballpark for the Prospect League, Summer Collegiate as well. Pretty much, I think a couple years ago, this was nothing more than an amateur high school field, and they spruced it up like Charlie Brown's tree to make it into some sort of Summer Collegiate ballpark. Nothing spectacular, but home plate is about 5 feet away from the first seats in the grandstand. So I thought that was
Jeez.
kind of wild. They have their own beer, they have a video board, and they have dugout party areas. So you can rent it out and hang up and watch the game. Not my cup of tea. They probably should either build upon that or build a new stadium in the future if they're looking for some staying power. However, when you're in Alton, you got to go to Fast Eddie's because they are known for their chicken on a stick and steak on a. I'm sorry, shrimp, peel and eat shrimp, steak kebabs, pork kebabs, burgers for really low prices, and ice cold beer. Place was packed and it was about 90 degrees outside that day. So Alton, Illinois, a funky little town right out of St. Louis. Last but not least was GCS Ballpark, Gateway Grizzlies Frontier League. Beautiful ballpark. They're known for their crazy donut burger and Philly cheese nacho.
Highly overrated donut burger, in my opinion.
It's okay. It's not bad. It's just
It's okay, yeah.
I'd rather have it on an actual bun. But the Philly cheesesteak nachos, Dan, you may have liked these. Cheesesteak, peppers, onions, cheese. He's
Mhm.
$8. It fills you up. You can share them with two little kids. Very nice.
Share.
If you're with two little kids and you're a mom, you got 5. You got.
She's not getting any either. Look at me.
Oh, I mean, I ate the whole thing, but
Oh, okay.
it was cool.
Share.
So, it's a nice. I was expecting a bigger crowd. This is
Unless
a ballpark.
Cher's going to be there, there's no sharing happening.
Yeah, no, this was a nice. It's a beautiful ballpark. It's in the middle of nowhere, though. I mean, you can see the St. Louis Arch in the distance, but it
Next
is in
to
the
an
middle
airport.
of nowhere.
Yeah, it's next to the airport.
And if you make the wrong turn, you're in East St. Louis, which you don't want to be in. So just make sure you go to the ballpark in Sauget, Illinois. Which
Yeah,
I think
Saw Jay's population is only like what, a couple hundred.
couple hundred people. I
Yeah.
think it might be known as the ballpark built in the smallest town in the country. Don't quote me on that. But I had a great night. It was a beautiful night, beautiful sunset. If you saw that picture on my Twitter account, Ballpark Hunter. The fans are kind of into this game. They were really ticked off at the up towards the end because the Florence Yalls in their baby blue uniforms snuck across a couple runs across the plate, much to the demise of the audience. So 5 ballparks in the last 2 weeks. Pretty busy for me.
Nice. I've actually did a little travel too the past couple of weeks. Memorial Day weekend, we decided, you know what? It's time. Let's take a real road trip. So we planned out 4 games in 3 days over Memorial Day weekend. And you know what? Mother Nature said, not so fast. Here in the Northeast on Memorial Day weekend, we were raining the whole weekend with temperatures in the 40s. Good 25 degrees lower than normal for this time of year. But you know what? We had our tickets. We had our hotel rooms booked, so we soldiered on. And our first stop was York, Pennsylvania, for the York Revolution at People's Bank Park. I didn't expect much out of this park, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed this little ballpark. Known for the highest outfield wall in all of baseball. The arch nemesis, the left field wall, is 8 inches taller than the Green Monster. And the cool thing about it is it's got a little hand-operated scoreboard, and it's got a 360-degree concourse, so you can sneak behind the wall, talk to the person operating the scoreboard, and if you're extra friendly, I guess, you can actually go and take a peek through the hole in the wall that they're using. But a lot of nice extras at this ballpark, a lot of nice features. A great children's play area out in center field with a big, beautiful carousel. White rose bushes, because York is the White Rose City, planted all along the berm in right field. You've got Cannonball Charlie, who sits out there in right field, and whenever York hits a home run or when they win the game, lights off this loud cannon. And I tell you, he got me at the end of the game. York won the game, and all of a sudden you heard this boom, and the regulars there love to see newcomers get busted by the cannon.
But you lived.
I did. He didn't shoot it at me. Just the
No,
noise.
well, I mean, heart. I was talking about heart attack, but yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm still here. No, this is Paul's ghost on the show. So, and a nice representation of local businesses and local craft beers at the ballpark. So, really enjoyed it. Very affordable. Parking was $3. I think we paid $8 for tickets. So, can't beat that. Had a nice conversation. Mark, you said you talked to a team owner. I spent a good inning talking to the team president of York. So,
Oh wow, that's awesome.
yeah, it was nice. So, and he actually, I'm going to let a scoop go. He actually told me what's going on in the Atlantic League next year. 2 new teams next year in the Atlantic League. One is for sure.
Staten Island.
Staten Island is for sure. And the second one should make me happy.
Lowell. Oh, Pawtucket.
The second one is not for sure, but yeah, it's either going to be Lowell or Pawtucket.
Okay. So Staten Island or one of those two.
So you heard it first on Stadium Journey.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. So that was York. Yeah, it was rainy. It was 45 degrees, but it was still a good time. We had a doubleheader scheduled the next day. Afternoon game in Scranton. I have been to Scranton 3 times for ball games. First time we went there, it got rained out. We were there for about 10 minutes, got rained out. Second time was the second game after they renovated the place. Temperature at first pitch was 37 degrees. And then it just got colder. Coldest baseball game I've ever been to. And then the third game was this past Saturday. We got rained out. So we stood there, we walked around the place for about an hour. Nice ballpark. I would love to see a game there in nice weather. I don't know if you know when it was Lackawanna County Stadium, it looked like a little slice of Veterans Stadium.
Yep.
They decided to have the team go on the road for a year, redid it. This was back about 2013. Knocked off the upper deck, put some stuff in the outfield. You can now 360 concourse it. They've got some social gathering areas. They got some nice different vantage points. One of these days, I hope to take advantage of it. So we didn't get to see a game there, but we did spend a good hour there talking to some good folks. So after the game got called, we headed down to Allentown and took in the Iron Pigs. And they were playing the Worcester Red Sox. So that was a good time, but it was still raining. They got 6 innings in and then called that game on account of rain. So we got, out of 18 scheduled innings, I got 6 that day. A lot of the concessions were closed down in Lehigh Valley. I know that's a big part of the allure there. The merchandise, as always, top notch. I know we've talked about they sell enough merchandise to kind of be considered a 31st major league team. So that was there. But Pennsylvania was opening up the next day. So we still had the reduced capacity crowds. You still had the mask mandates. You still had the social distancing in effect. And you had a bunch of rain. So that also put a damper on things. So that was our Sunday. And then on the Monday, on Memorial Day, the weather cleared, which was nice. And we were up to Rentschler Field in Hartford, Connecticut for the NCAA lacrosse championship game. It was Virginia against Maryland. Fantastic game that actually went down to the wire. Maryland had a chance to tie the game in the last seconds. The goalie was able to make a save, and Virginia took home the national championship. We've talked about Rentschler Field on this show before. Not a spectacular venue by any means, and kind of surprising that the NCAA would put the championship game there, considering where it's been in recent years. You know, it's at Lincoln Financial Field a couple times. It's been at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. It's been at Gillette Stadium. Rentschler is absolutely a step down from those venues, but still a solid, and it was an affordable place. You know, we talk about like the Frozen Four pricing has gotten out of whack. We were able to go to the lacrosse final game for like $30, $35 a ticket. So still very affordable. And it will be back there again next year on Memorial Day. So that was my weekend, my trips. I don't have any trips planned for the next couple of weeks. We're going to play it by ear. We'll probably hit a couple of summer college games, but we have nothing planned right now. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, same with me. I mean, Fort Wayne, Richmond, Indiana, of course, Louisville, Columbus. Playing by ear. I am trying to look at dates for the new soccer facility in Cincinnati and Columbus, but I think we're a little bit off on that. Yeah, just playing things by ear. Maybe it could be a daytime decision. Yeah, but it's funny. You said you talked to the team president about 2 new Atlantic League teams. Todd Miller, who's the owner of the Sliders in Springfield, he told me they're going to expand to 2 teams next year as well. He just couldn't tell me. So you got a little more information out of your contact than I did.
Yeah. Oh, and Robin Roberts played his minor league ball in Montpelier, Vermont.
That's true too. Which
Robin Roberts.
I've been up there as well. There's a video on my YouTube page.
My dad liked Robin Roberts when he was younger.
That was a nice little ballpark up in Montpelier.
Yeah.
All right. So that is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching and for your ongoing support of our efforts. Dan, if our listeners would like to follow you online, where can they find you?
Dan Law 83.
Mark, how about you? Where can our listeners follow you online?
All social media platforms. Ballpark Hunter. This Thursday is the new Loeb Stadium video. Check that out. 12 Eastern time, Standard Time.
And Dave, where can our listeners follow you on the social media universe?
On Twitter at ProFan9. We got a couple obstructed views on the way. And keep your eyes open for some retro podcasts. If you just can't get enough, those are going to be coming out on every other Thursday. But I do want to give a shout out because in the mail showed up my copy of Accidental Heroes from that Pete McGinty wrote. And I got to tell you, excellent. Absolutely excellent. I felt like I was part of the team that was trying to save them. It's so well written. Go out. I actually SaveTheCrewBook.com. You can pick it up. And because this is pretty cool, because the Crew recently saved their name again, you can get 2 books for a special price. So check it out. SaveTheCrewBook.com.
Nice. Yeah, having Pete was an excellent guest. That was a great show. Check it out on our YouTube page. So you can follow my Stadium Journeys on Twitter or Instagram at PuckmanRI. And don't forget to check out our website. Once again, that's stadiumjourney.com. Like, follow, share, subscribe to all of our social media channels. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Yes, got it.
Stadium Journey. I forgot what was OnlyFans, Twitch. No, you cannot find us on OnlyFans. Sorry, guys. You can't find us on Patreon.
Sorry.
No, I wouldn't apologize.
Only Dan's, though.
Only Dan's. You can find the Stadium Journey podcast by searching HIAC Talk Radio Network on whatever podcast app you use or on Spotify. And we simulcast live. Remember, thanks to everybody who hung out with us tonight. Every other Tuesday night at 8 Eastern at twitch.tv/DanLaw83. We will be back in 2 weeks. That is June 22nd for the topic to be determined. Until then, be safe with your Stadium Journeys as things open back up. We'll see you on the road soon.